Hey guys, RonMan here. Today, we're taking a look at Battletoads and Battlemaniacs for Super Nintendo. This Battletoads game was developed by Rare and published for the Super Nintendo in 1993. I got this game for Christmas in 1995. I love beat-em-ups, and my best friend, at the time, lived across the street and we played games together all the time. It's just a shame that we were so shit at video games that we couldn't even beat this. Anyway, this game looks awesome. I absolutely love the graphics. Everything looks crisp and colorful, the animations are top-notch. This game is two-player, and each toad has their own animations, though they otherwise seem identical. Player 1 is Pimple, and Player 2 is Rash. If you're playing single-player and want to play as Rash, just plug your controller into port 2, just like the NES game. The music is also pretty darn good too. The controls are what you'd expect for a Battletoads game, and that is that they're kind of floaty. I mean, they're not too bad, you'll get used to them. But some idiot programmed the jump and attack buttons backwards, so attack is B and jump is Y or A. You fucking moron. As a kid, I loved this game. I didn't even realize it was hard. I just assumed we sucked at it. After all, most games I played as a kid I never beat. Some people call this game a beat-em-up, but I disagree. Only the first stage is a traditional beat-em-up, and believe it or not, the rest of the game is comprised of auto-scroller stages. You beat up some things in stages 1 and 2, and then that's it until the final stage. And you likely won't get that far. I sure haven't. Taking a closer look at this, the major issue here is the difficulty, and there are two contributing factors that make this game too hard. Number 1, you only get 3 lives and 3 continues. It's just not enough to deal with what this game throws at you. Like, why can't this game just have unlimited continues? It's not an arcade machine, for fuck's sake. That alone makes this super hard. Second is the level design. The problem is there are just too many cheap deaths. In level 1, look at this bridge. It starts burning, oh shit, and then BAM! This asshole hits you off. Well, shit. There goes one of my few precious lives. How about the turbo tunnel? Oh yeah, it's back. And it's even harder this time. The first 10 times I fell here, I just thought I was dead, so I put the controller down and died. I didn't realize I was supposed to fall in and tap the jump button. You actually need to have this tunnel memorized if you want to beat it. If you screw up or forget something, you die. You don't take damage, you die. And actually, it seems like everything from this stage on kills you in one hit, so your life bar is no longer something that you need to pay attention to, at least until the final stage. In the snake pit, and to this game's credit, the first room can't kill you. It's there to teach you how to ride the snakes and does so in a safe environment. But after that, you're expected to ride the snakes while dodging spikes and other obstacles until the end of the level. That doesn't sound too hard, but oftentimes you don't know where the snakes are going and where the snakes are coming from. Sometimes they move so fast that you're dead before you can even say fuck. During your playthrough, and at some point, you realize that you're almost out of lives and continues. Then you'll get stressed about getting a game over and having to replay the whole game all over again. As a result of the stress, you start having a hard time concentrating, and then boom! Back to the beginning of the whole game. Take Super Mario for example. Sometimes it can be tough, but for the most part you can just react to what's happening. You don't need to have it memorized. Of course that helps too, but generally speaking you can beat a Mario game with just your reflexes. In Battlemaniacs, that's not the case. Dying is actually required in order to learn the levels and memorize the patterns. This game was designed to kill you repeatedly until you've memorized what to do. With that being the primary philosophy behind Battletoads and Battlemaniacs, why the fuck is there not unlimited continues or a password system? If your answer is, well, playing through all the beginning levels again will make you a better player. Yeah, I mean, I get you, but the majority of players are just gonna get frustrated, shut the game off, and never play it again. Like what I did when I was 8. I mean, I played it as an adult, but at the time I sold the game, and I didn't touch it again until I was in my 20s. I mean, look at speedrunners. Those guys are amazing, but generally speaking, they use emulators and save states, and they practice a very specific part over and over again. We didn't have that back in the 90s. You know, it comes down to that this game is just too hard for its own good, and it's not hard for the right reasons. As a developer and a business, don't you want people to play your game, maybe beat your game? This game kicks your ass so hard right off the hop, who's gonna stick with it? Did Rare actually think kids in the 90s were gonna fucking beat this? I still can't beat this. I do not have the patience because, aside from the difficulty, I just don't find this game all that fun to play. Level 1 is moderately enjoyable, but knowing that the rest of the game is all auto-scroll? No thanks. Luckily, Battlemaniacs does have cheats. The only cheats I could find are for start with 5 lives and 5 continues, and a super jump. I never used the jump, but I highly recommend using the lives cheat if you decide to torture yourself by playing this game. One thing that always bothered me is that Zitz is not playable. They did the same thing in the NES game, but with Pimple. I don't like that. Just imagine a Ninja Turtles game where one of the turtles was just unplayable. He was kidnapped, and that's the storyline. I don't know, I don't think I like that. I don't like that idea. It is a silly nitpick, mind you. So that's Battlemaniacs. It looks great, has awesome music, the controls are passable, but the difficulty and overall level design just make this something that I have a really hard time recommending. Is this game bad? Well, I can't really say that either. I mean, maybe you want a game that's tough as shit and you can handle the frustration, and in which case, hell yeah, play this game. It's a shame that this game doesn't really appeal to a wider audience. I really want to love this game, but at the end of the day, I just can't be bothered. I give Battletoads and Battlemaniacs for the Super Nintendo a 4 out of 10. Have any of you guys beat this game, and what's your opinion of it? Hopefully you guys aren't too angry that I somewhat took a dump on a Battletoads game. Please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.